Welcome to Chatting the Pictures. My name is Cara Finnegan, and I'm a writer, teacher, and historian of photography.
And I'm Michael Shaw. I'm a writer, a psychologist, and also publisher of Reading the Pictures.
In the news, death is a recognizable feature of war, disaster, or plague. But how often does Western media capture death this naturally?
Ilvy Njiokiktjien of the VII Photo Agency took this picture on October 2nd, 2020. The image is from a story about intergenerational co-housing, a fairly recent trend in Dutch living. In the foreground, we see John, who passed away the day before. In the background, we see John's daughter, Lisa, preparing flowers for his funeral, his granddaughter, Norah, watching a show on a laptop, and John's wife, Els, choosing an outfit for the ceremony. John's coffin is placed in his bedroom in a farmhouse converted for expanded living in Zoelmond in the Netherlands.
For American eyes, a family gathered in a room at home with the family member who's passed away may seem macabre or strange. But dying and being prepared for burial at home used to be a common, in fact, valued thing. And so I think it's important to recognize that, particularly in the context of the story that's being told here about co-housing. Because part of what this photo is doing is also inviting the viewer to understand the value of these intergenerational co-housing arrangements for families. So the fact that the grandfather, we can say in this case, has passed away and yet is still surrounded by multiple generations of the family, that signals, I think, sort of the heart of what the photographer is trying to get at with this project.
This photo offers a marked contrast to the stigmatizing and institutionalizing of death, certainly in more white, affluent Western cultures. These are cultures that emphasize vitality and the ethos of forever young. So this is really a striking and powerful departure. It may be that longer lifespans and contractions of the welfare state have spurred this trend toward communal living in places like the Netherlands and Belgium. Either way, to see such a natural depiction of death in Western media is exceedingly rare.
In terms of the photo's composition, there, we might be invited to think about the contrast between the child on the bed, eyes glued to the laptop, and the elder who's passed away. One might think, oh gosh, why is that child in the room with the dead person? Or one might be invited to think about the span of life from childhood to death. But I also think that the photographer's inviting us in some ways to see the similarities between the child and the grandfather here. Each of them is in a soft place to lie. They're surrounded by comfortable blankets. And again, I think that really amplifies part of the photo's message of the value of having those who love and care for you around you through the whole span of your life. It also strikes me, too, that the two women in this photo are busy. They're the ones who have to do things. They're the ones who have to plan for the funeral, who have to dress for the funeral, who have to take care of things, who have to arrange the flowers. And that also, I think, says something about grief, so that even in what is surely their grief at the loss of their father and husband and this child's grandfather, there's still work to do. And often that work is the work done by women in families.
It's also interesting to me how this photograph set in the midst of COVID really retains its power as something that is universal and carries importance and does speak to a universal experience that really deserves to be treated in this open a way.